going to the Titans-Oilers Ring of Honor. And I kind of sat there and I just said to myself, I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
My last show that I ever did with Floyd was this show, was the NFL pregame show before the Bears game. Chris, you were there. And it was that kind of that moment that hit me of like, wow, that was the last time that I was on the air with the GM, Floyd Reese, a little over a year ago before he stepped away. And then, of course, we lost him in August. And, Chris, you were part of the great tribute show that Jared put together, and it was fantastic. I couldn't stop listening to it, listened to the whole thing. Jerry Glanville is a piece of work. Like, that guy is amazing. But so you had a lot of good things, to say about the GM, Floyd Reese. But, Mark, you covered it. I mean, I can remember Darren and Willie talking about that Floyd would do an hour with them when he was still the GM of the Titans. But you, I know, had interactions with him during your time in TV and on radio.
Knew him very well, learned a lot from him. And even, you're right, even when he was the Titans GM, which for the most part, you talk to the media on a need-to-know basis.
Yeah.
You don't really dispense a whole lot of information. But Floyd, and this stuff was off the record. It wasn't anything I could use on the air. But Floyd talking about the draft and, just all the machinations that led, one player to a certain place. He talked about scouting players and, just had great stories. And Floyd would come out to practice and regale us, with his experiences. And, he was very generous about that. And, yes, there is the whole Jeff versus Floyd thing, which was very real. Mommy and Daddy did not get along, especially in the final years.
Right.
But to me, I blame Bud for that.
Yeah.
I think Bud pitted Floyd against Jeff. For his affections, which was kind of ridiculous, because Bud could be tough.
Sure.
Bud needed to know where you were 24/7 and all that. But anyway, Floyd as a person, I thought was tremendous, and he was the architect for that Super Bowl team, and at a time where the salary cap was a lot tighter than it was, these days. He had to make a lot of really hard decisions. The team was going to go into a down cycle, and I'll always maintain he never really got a fair chance to rebuild this team. Mm-hmm. Once Steve McNair, aged out as quarterback or reached the end of the line, you've got to find that guy. I mean, haven't we seen with Jeff? When Jeff doesn't have a quarterback, doesn't seem to be as smart a head coach as when he did. But Floyd, I remember when he passed, just nothing but good memories. And, I still can't believe, he's gone because he was such a vital, healthy guy.
Yeah.
But today, Sally and his family will get the recognition that he deserves alongside Jeff. For Titans fans of a certain age, a lot of nostalgia today at Nissan Stadium.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it, Chris.
I love Floyd Reese, and I say this all the time, and it sounds kind of cliche, but I really love this guy. And I was looking at one of the articles that they wrote on him. They said this. They said he was a true Titan. So what I wanted to do is I want to look up the word Titan. What the heck does that mean? This is the definition of a Titan. It says a person of great strength, intelligence, or importance. That's Floyd. Is Floyd Reese, a great with quiet strength, a guy that's very, very intelligent, and he was very important. He was so important to a lot of people's lives. Have you ever been in a position? Let me break this down to you. What if I would have came to you and I was your boss, and I told you to take a $600,000 pay cut?
I was just gonna get into that.
Would you be ready to fight somebody?
Yeah,
absolutely. But I was so happy to do it for him is because he wasn't doing it just for me to take a pay cut. He was doing it because it was to help the team to get under the salary cap. And the one thing that I saw about him is when we were in the meeting room, a lot of people really don't know this, but when he asked me to take the pay cut and everything, he hugged me and with a tear in his eyes and he told me thank you. A lot of general managers don't do that. So even though he was my general manager, he was my friend and it was somebody that I look up to.
I remember him, Frank Wycheck, telling the same story, and Floyd, basically told him, I love you, man, but you're going to have to take a pay cut. And if you don't want the pay cut, then you're probably going to end up playing somewhere else. And, that was part of the business too. He knew that he had to make some hard, often cold decisions. The Randall Godfrey coming back here, taking a pay cut, and then Floyd having to cut him. In my mind was one of the most difficult things that he had to do. But he would also roll the dice. Trading a first-round pick for Kevin Carter.
Right.
He had some hits.
That was a good move.
He had some whiffs.
That was a very good move.
But really, you look at those drafts, in the late '90s, early 2000s, and they pretty much made up the core of that Titans team that had a good run under Jeff. Went to 2 conference championship games, went to a Super Bowl. And you just remember I remember 99 so vividly because, that year was the first year they were in Adelphia Coliseum, which is now Nissan Stadium. And it just seemed like they couldn't lose.
No.
And then, and it was crazy because they were 13-3 and they couldn't win their division.
I know.
Because of Jacksonville.
Jacksonville lost 2 games in the regular season,
and
both
to the Titans.
Yeah.
And you remember that run, and I remember, going through it, being on the road and seeing Floyd and talking to him about that, and just an amazing guy, and as a sports fan, as well as someone who covered the Titans in this market. Fans have a lot to thank, when it comes to Floyd Reese, because a lot of times you got to wait. And Titans fans didn't have to do that. I always equate 99 as giving your kid a Corvette on his 16th birthday, because everything after that was kind of downhill.
Right, you're right.
And just looking at Floyd, man, he's leaving a legacy. He's leaving a legacy with his children. He's leaving a legacy through me and Jared. But
and he hated that question. He hated talking about what his legacy is, and he would always say that's for other people to figure out.
But that's what makes him so special, because he didn't want to be in the limelight.
Yeah.
He didn't want that. He didn't want people to talk about him. I would brag on him all the time, and he didn't want that. And the one thing I love about Floyd is, he's got a track record of never bringing guys that he cut back. And he brought, when I went to Cleveland and I got cut, he knew I was hurt. He knew I couldn't run. He knew I couldn't do the things that I could when I was a young kid. And he brought me back because he knew that I wanted to retire as a Titan. And that just shows you the character and the character of a man and how much he cares about just me being a man as opposed to a player.
Well, the other thing that I liked about Floyd was, when you talk to him, even after he left, it wasn't like, we were great in my time, but nobody else. Nobody has been as generous to John Robinson as Floyd was, and made John feel comfortable. And in a lot of ways, John Robinson and Floyd are sort of cut from the same cloth. Yeah. They're different personalities, but the scouting background and all that, and obviously the coaching background. Some GMs don't have that, but I know John and Floyd had an affinity towards each other. So I thought that was really neat. And nobody had a bigger cheerleader, John Robinson, than Floyd Reese.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no doubt about that. But I do want to give credit where credit is due. You mentioned the Floyd and Jeff stuff, especially towards the end, and that's very well known. But they were synonymous with one another, so it does make sense that they go in together.
Oh, absolutely.
And Chris,
yes,
you played for Jeff Fisher.
Yes.
Why was he the right – because I've asked Floyd this question. Floyd and I sat on a plane going somewhere or in the car, maybe it was, and I asked him, why, when you took the GM job in '94, you fired Jack Pardee halfway through the season, why'd you stick with Jeff Fisher? Did you not interview other people? Did you talk to other people? And he said, I talked to a lot of people. I kept trying to find the guy that I thought was better, and at the end of the day, I came to the conclusion that the guy I had was the right guy. Yeah. So why do you think he was the right guy to go through those 8 and 8 years, the move from Houston to Tennessee, and then ultimately what happened in '99.
Because he understands. When I say he understands, as a player, you go through adversity, you go through trials and tribulations. So he understands that when you face these things, he shows you how to overcome it. I mean, when we came here and we went to Memphis, I'm just laughing because it was a bad situation, but he took a bad situation
Offices
and made it
and trailers.
Absolutely, with all that, but he made it. He didn't look at it that way. He looked at it, we have a job to do. I remember when we went to Memphis and we got booed and it was all Pittsburgh fans there. I mean, it was embarrassing. It was absolutely embarrassing. But what he did after the game, he said, you know what?
It's the last game in '97.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know, he saw that the players were upset. He saw that, you know, guys were kind of mad. But what he did, he said, we're going to ride this ship out because you know what we're going to do. We're building something great. We got great leaders here. If you just follow my lead, you're going to do something great, and that's exactly what happened in 1999.
And by the way, that last game in '97, you're right, in the Liberty Bowl, where all those Steelers fans were drowning out the Oilers fans. It prompted a great line from Hall of Fame offensive lineman Bruce Matthews, and that was, we needed to score early to take the crowd out of the game.
Sounds like Bruce.
I mean, you got two great guys going into the Ring of Honor, and what they did, just in my life, but in a lot of people's lives, of building a legacy and building a family. Because a lot of times guys play and then they go away, but when they come back, they got to understand that this is a Titans family, and that's what those two guys built.
Jeff Fisher, when he was here, was phenomenal, especially with the media.
Yeah.
Sort of taking us through some of the things we needed to know when you were covering an NFL team. And there was unprecedented openness, when Jeff was coaching. You knew you weren't supposed to talk about practice, and of course I let it slip one day like an idiot. But off the record, Jeff was incredible. I mean, he would tell you stuff. He would tell you just about anything you wanted to know, and more than anything else, nobody was more prepared than Jeff Fisher. I mean, literally, when it came to injuries, when it came to just about anything, he was prepared. He knew about the way the league worked, obviously, being on the competition committee. Nobody knew the rule book better than Jeff Fisher. And there were a couple of times there he used it to the Titans' advantage, and they won games. So there was, in-game coaching. Everybody can say that he was conservative or whatever, but when you had a field goal kicker that never missed, that's what you play for. But Jeff was just always impeccably prepared, and I just know that during his tenure, he was, you'd see him out. I mean, he would be pretty open, and he had a relationship with the media that not a lot of other coaches did.
I remember, I think it was my rookie season, and I was playing well. I had a great game against Cincinnati and a great game against Cleveland. And I'm a rookie, and he elected me to be the captain to go against Chicago. And he saw that I was nervous. I'm like, what the heck am I doing out here being the captain? But I remember him grab me on the sidelines. He said, the reason why you're a captain today is because you earned it. Yeah. I mean, how you going to trust a rookie to go and be a captain when I don't know what the heck I'm doing? But he trusted me to be a captain, but also he grabbed me by my face mask and he grabbed me by my shoulder pads. He said, you're a captain because you deserve to be a captain. That's the kind of guy that I like.
And Chris, you know this too. Yeah. Jeff was open to other ideas. In other words, your offense, in the 90s, and even the team that went to the Super Bowl was pretty conservative. And, obviously you had Eddie. You had Steve throwing to Frank.
Absolutely.
It was kind of a safety valve. but after Les Steckel left, Jeff knew what he wanted, and he went out and got Mike Heimerdinger, who was, part of that offense in Denver with John Elway, and he wanted to open things up because he recognized what he had in Steve McNair. Derek Mason was a phenomenal possession receiver. It's kind of funny that this team never really had a deep threat.
Easy.
Except for Chris.
Thank you, sir.
But I'm just saying, for most of those years, they did. But he wanted that offense to evolve, And that was part of the Titans' success as well.
Yeah. And then, go ahead.
Well, we got to go to break.
Sorry, got me going.
I know. We got you going. It's okay. He is Mark Howard, Chris Sanders. It is NFL pregame. Chase McCabe in for Jared Stillman today. It's all presented by TriStar Moving, Parman Tractor and Equipment, FreedomTireGuys.com, FanDuel Sportsbook, E2 Roofing, Hillside Medical, Social Furniture, and Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. When we come back, moving the chains as the Titans take on the Texans here on ESPN 105 The Game.
That's Jeffrey Simmons who's having the night of night.
Or will the one-win Texans have other ideas?
No can do.
Tune in all day Monday for full reaction to Titans-Texans. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Are you having Thanksgiving at your house but have no furniture and have no clue where to go? Well, Social Furniture is here to help you get your home ready for hosting your family's Thanksgiving dinner with their great dining room sets. Social Furniture is locally owned and save up to 70% on all furniture that will have your family begging to stay. They have sofas, sectionals with chase lounge, and recliners that are all push button, electric, and wall away. They have all colors to choose from, and for your comfort, all of them are plus leather, microfiber, and Chanel's. Let Social Furniture help you celebrate your Thanksgiving with hundreds of furniture to choose from and save up to 70%. There's no waiting, and take home your new holiday furniture today or with their same-day fine furniture delivery. That's right, Social Furniture has same-day delivery with no down payments and no interest. Visit Social Furniture in West Nashville at 5412 Charlotte Avenue. Forget the big box store. Support local. Support social. On the web at mysocialfurniture.com. Bode Nashville puts you in a chic and stylish downtown Nashville hotel. Walking distance to some of Music City's most popular spots. Working with local partners, they introduce you to the city, its craft, and its tastes. From their porch coffee and marketplace, serving local coffee from Stay Golden, to their in-house cocktail bar, Sidebar. Bode Nashville is a perfect spot for your pregame or nightcap and citywide adventure in between. Connect to Music City, its culture, its craft, and each other at Bode Nashville at 401 2nd Avenue South in Sobro.
Joe Rexrode here for FanDuel Sportsbook, talking about the NFL season, which has given us a big one, Week 11, Arizona Seahawks. FanDuel's making it even bigger because it's giving new customers 30-1 odds on either team to win. This means you can win $150 on a $5 bet. I like the fact that Russ is back, but I think I got to go with the Niners here, folks. All I know is you got to do it on the number one rated sportsbook app in America. Easy to use, safe and secure. Get your money in as little as 2 hours. Also, if you are a FanDuel Sportsbook user, you can get $50 when you refer a friend, and your friend will get $50 too. One of many reasons this is America's number one sportsbook. If you're new, sign up with promo code Joe102. Before the Cards take on the Seahawks, you can win $150 on a $5 bet. Remember, use promo code Joe102 so they know I sent you exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company, and Craneworks and Rentalworks, your source for crane and equipment rental. Visit Craneworks.com, Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Vanderbilt football head coach Clark Lee. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Back here on NFL pregame, Chase McCabe in for Jared Stillman today alongside Mark Howard and Forever Titans wide receiver Chris Sanders. It is time for Moving the Chains. Swing and a miss. It's time for Moving the Chains, presented by TriStar Moving. Let's start with first down.
Let's go.
First down.
I told you, Chris, coming in here, that I was nervous about this game. And I'm not trying to be Jared, Debbie Downer, like all of that. But I am, because there have been so many times that I have seen the Titans play down to their competition. Mm-hmm. And the Texans are not a good team, but they're an NFL team. Absolutely. And anything can happen on any given Sunday. So how do you not play down to your competition
I
today.
mean, they're going to have to start fast. And if you look at the Texans offense, they have some explosive players now. I mean, they got Cooks, they got Amendola, they got Taylor. I know Taylor's coming off injury.
Amendola, he's coming as corn.
See, he might be. I understand, but the
Forgot
thing,
he was even on the team.
I know.
Grief.
But the thing about it is, he's one of those guys that's going to keep the chains moving. If he keeps the chains moving and they have time of possession, you can't have that explosive offense that the Titans have out there. So I understand this is going to be. It's not going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a closer game to what people think, because I'm going to tell you something. This is the NFL. I don't care if you're 1-25, you're 1-26. You have to come out and play your game absolutely every week. Because if you look at, I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, how in the heck the Jags beat the Bills and only have them score 6 points?
Yeah.
That just shows you that the NFL is the NFL. You can get beat anytime, any place, anywhere if you don't come out and play.
Well, they learned from the Jets earlier this season.
Yeah.
You know, getting beaten by, one of the lower-rung teams. And, to say the least, the Titans have injury issues. Again, a depleted offensive line. Radens is going to start at guard.
Oh, boy.
Just out of necessity. Yeah, exactly. But that's part of the deal.
Right.
And this is going to be, Nate Davis is out with a concussion. He's going to play right guard, Dylan Radens, their second-round pick, who hasn't really given them a whole lot. But this is one of those games where you just, you just try to get through it. You're not going to tell your players that. But, one thing about Mike Vrabel, he is terrific at navigating his team through a long season.
Yes, he is.
And he understands today, it's going to be, sort of a next man up situation. Mm-hmm. They should be able to run the football, even, with Foreman and Peterson and that group, that they should, if they don't turn the ball over, hello, Ryan Tannehill. You're right. You don't want to give a team like the Texans oxygen. And, Tyrod Taylor is a solid journeyman backup. But on a given Sunday, if he gets hot, you're right. Yep. He's got Cooks out there, who's definitely a weapon, a guy they have to cover. And, you just want to make sure. And I don't, Chris and I often disagree, but getting up early and not giving.
Coin toss.
Win the coin toss. Start with that.
But you don't want to give
Absolutely.
the Texans oxygen.
Absolutely.
They've only won one game. They played a few teams close. Their coach is a dear friend of mine. I really love David Culley, but he has been dealt a tough hand. And let's face it, guys, if you could write a manual on how to run a franchise into the ground, meet Cal McNair, whose, moronic management of this team has taken them from a perennial playoff team, to one that's probably going to pick first in the draft. Deshaun, they've got an all-pro quarterback in Deshaun Watson who's sitting on the sidelines healthy, and they're paying him. But they've elected not to play him this year.
But you know why I think the Tennessee Titans are still going to win? Because there's always somebody that you never ever heard of step up and make a play. I mean, look at last week. You have Dylan Coe, who has a forced fumble, and then Troy Carter.
That's second down, by the way. So there, go ahead.
I got you second down. And then you have Marcus Johnson, who was excellent in camp, and he comes out, has 5 catches for 100 yards. Then you have Foreman catches a 39-yard screen pass to set up for a score. So even though there's a lot of guys hurt for the Tennessee Titans, there's always an unsung hero that's going to come up and make a play. We saw that last week.
Yeah, maybe they'll find a hero in this week's officiating crew. Last week it was Barry Anderson with his phantom roughing the quarterback call on Tannehill that negated an end zone interception.
That was a turning point of the game.
And don't get me started, about officials, and that's sort of again. Cranked up the call for full-time officials.
Yeah.
That was just there's just no excuse for a call that bad. But anyway.
Yeah, I labeled this make a play because Floyd always said, give me somebody that's going to make a play. So somebody has to make a play on offense and defense, and it may be an unsung hero. Now, along those lines, the run game, Jeremy McNichols is out with a concussion, so that takes away that passing, that pass catching back. I think that's more of an Adrian Peterson thing, what he could do. Deontay Foreman's the key for me today.
I agree, but then it goes back to Todd Downing. I mean, look at what he did last week. He spreaded them out. He went in empty, a 3-by-2. And they ran like a pig play with Pruitt, and they threw it to Johnson. He's got to do things like he did last week and do it this week and come up with creative ways to get your playmakers the ball. So, even though you don't have Julio Jones, I don't even know when he's going to play, but you still can get the same results because those guys, Todd Downing is putting those guys in position to make plays.
Be nice to get better numbers out of A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
They got away with it. They got away with it last week.
Yeah.
And again, there were so many fortunate things that went the Titans' way last week.
Yep.
That 2-pointer at the end. If their kicker makes one more extra point, that game goes into overtime, and then who knows what happens. So, we could play the what-if game last week till the cows come home. This time around, you can't always live the charmed existence, and it's going to be interesting to me. The Texans are going to play, every week, like it's a championship game. Because right now, they got nothing to lose.
All right, we're in the hurry up with no timeouts. 3rd down. No, you're good.
3rd down.
Okay, the weather. The weather is going to be a factor today, Chris.
Yeah.
And this is something that they really haven't had to face much, but it looks like it's going to be raining a lot. Is there extra preparation that you did when you knew it was going to be bad?
Not really. I mean, you just kind of make sure you protect the football. I mean, this is where if we would have had Derrick Henry,
you're good.
You run the ball down their throats. But at the end of the day, if the Texans stop the Tennessee Titans from running the ball, what are you going to do passing the ball with Tannehill struggling and creating turnovers? So, the weather could be a factor, but at the end of the day, you still got to make plays. I know that sounds like coach talk, but they got to protect the football. Tannehill can't throw interceptions. He's got to throw the ball on the money where only the receiver can catch it, and the running backs have to hold on to the ball. So if you do that and just maintain the football, you can be successful in this game.
Yeah, I'll echo that. They got to minimize the mistakes. This is not going to be that balanced, potentially big play offense today, we don't think. And again, don't give the Texans an opportunity. Don't beat yourself. You get in the red zone, you finish drives and all that. And, the one thing about Tannehill that I do have to give him credit is the Titans have been pretty good at finishing drives in the red zone because you only get X amount of opportunities. And that has sort of been one of the secret sauces about this team. And the turnover ratio has turned around a little bit the last few games.
All right, quickly,
Yes,
4th
sir.
down.
4th down.
Landry, Simmons. One of them has to get to Tyrod Taylor. Will they, though, Chris?
Absolutely. And even though you say those two guys, I'd say Autry. You
Autry,
can throw
yeah, throw
Autry
him
in there
in there.
also. Man, but what they're doing, they're playing at a totally different level. They're playing with confidence. They're getting to the quarterback. They're batting balls down. And they're just playing at a different level. I mean, when was the last time we seen 3 guys be that dominant for the Tennessee Titans? I mean, they're playing physical. They're getting to the ball. They're confusing the quarterback. I mean, if you look at when they played against, I think it was the Rams, Stafford's face looked like, what the heck did I get myself into? So you got to fluster Tyrod Taylor and make him feel uncomfortable in the pocket. And if those 3 guys can get to him, it's going to be a long day for Tyrod Taylor.
Hopefully Naquan Jones and Laurel Murchison, 2 young up-and-coming linemen, will get a lot of snaps today. That will be a good sign. Yeah, that pass rush, has carried the Titans through, and they've kind of been a one-trick pony. But if you're going to have one trick, have a great pass rush,
no doubt,
because it discombobulates the other team. And that A-gap pressure, and we'll talk about it maybe later in the show, and why it's so effective and why it rattles quarterbacks so much.
Absolutely.
Moving the Chains brought to you by TriStar Moving, TriStar Movers with 5-star service. We'll go inside the offensive playbook when we come back here on NFL Pregame on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Coming up next hour on NFL Pregame, Jared, Chris, and Mark go inside the playbook, inside the sportsbook, and get an update from the stadium with ESPN's Teron Davenport. It's NFL Pregame on Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Last year, Nashville SC shattered the expectations in Major League Soccer.
Nashville SC dumping Toronto out of the playoffs.
Now they're back for more. Nashville SC is back in the Audi MLS Cup playoffs, and you can cheer for the boys in gold here at Nissan Stadium. Get your tickets now for round 1 to see Nashville SC face off against Orlando City SC on November 23rd at 7 p.m. Tickets start at just $24, so come be a part as the boys in gold look to bring a championship to Nashville. Get your tickets at NashvilleSC.com/tickets. Everyone in.
Tune in every Monday at 8 a.m. and Friday at 3:15 to hear News 2's Corey Curtis take on all things Nashville sports, including the week's NFL games. All brought to you by Invigorate Health in Mount Juliet. Look and feel your best with IV therapy, medical weight loss, testosterone, body shaping, and more.
What if you could build a 6-figure retirement income in just 5 payments? You heard right. In just 5 payments, set up a 6-figure retirement cash flow for as long as you live. There's a retirement crisis in America because the pension system of old has been raided and destroyed, and Social Security is already running out of money. Most Americans are shocked to find out they need over $2.5 million to have $100,000 in retirement. A new approach is required to solve this crisis. That's why this revolutionary 5-pay retirement program was released, allowing everyday Americans to use bank money to create a retirement cash flow without relying on Social Security or pensions. Even people who are on track have shifted money to this new strategy because it accelerates the amount they'll have at retirement or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement in just 5 payments, call Wealth Education Group now at 800-375-3232 to see if you qualify for this brand new program. Plus, as a free bonus, you'll get the 5-pay retirement guide and video. Call 800-375-3232, 1-800-375-3232, 1-800-375-3232.
Jared Stillman.
Football season, and then football season becomes hockey season, and then it becomes draft season, and then it becomes hockey playoff season.
And company.
Maybe this is something to just get people a little bit interested.
It's a matter of not having too many chefs in the kitchen.
Catch Stillman and Company on your drive home. Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and The Game Nashville app.
And I can spot it from a mile away.
Watch live on YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. Nashville's best sports talk. Locally owned. Home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram. 97.5 Murfreesboro. WBUZ HD2 Laverne. Online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN.
102.5 The Game. What are the keys to victory on the offensive side of the ball for the two-tone blue? Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard go inside the playbook. Brought to you by E2 Roofing. This is the NFL pregame on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
That's right. Back here on NFL pregame, Chase McCabe in for Jared Stillman today alongside Mark Howard and Chris Sanders, and we do go inside the playbook on offense. Before we do that, let me give you some transactions that took place yesterday. Tight end Tommy Hudson was activated from injured reserve.
Who's that?
Outside
Alabama.
Yeah, there you go. Outside linebacker Bud Dupree was placed on injured reserve. Also, running back Dontrell Hilliard and defensive back Breon Borders were the game day elevations for Sunday's game, meaning they'll go back to the practice squad after the game. Hudson had just returned to practice this week. Had a pretty good training camp for the Titans, but got hurt. He's been on IR. And that is all because, if you go look at the injury report, Jeff Swain, who I think has been the best tight end besides Michael Pruitt on this team, is out with a concussion. So Tommy Hudson will take his spot. That is obviously a weapon that's missing. Jeremy McNichols is going to be out with a concussion. So, Mark, you look at this offense, and once again, Ryan Tannehill is having to look and see who he has available to him, and losing guys every week, just the theme.
But on the other side, Jonathan Greenard got left in Houston because of injury for the Texans. He's their leading sack guy with 7. So that's one less headache for Todd Downing in terms of protecting his quarterback. But you're right, and I said it before. They are depleted big time on the offensive end. They're going to keep it simple. I think the plan is, again, to run the football, and I think they can. I think, without a doubt, Deontay Foreman is their best back.
All right.
Yep.
It's kind of nice, kind of cool to see Adrian Peterson, but
I don't think anybody ever thought he was going to be.
Oh, I know.
The
When they got him, too bad he didn't come with a time machine.
Yeah.
But that's sort of the reality. And Peterson's going to give you like 5 carries a game, maybe near the goal line. But for the most part, Foreman almost by default is their featured back. And I think they're going to look for opportunities, to try to get him to move the chains.
I think a couple of things with the Tennessee Titans, what they need to do on offense. Number one, A.J. Brown has to play. I mean, the last couple of weeks he's been struggling. I don't know what's going on. He had 1 catch for 16 yards last week and had a couple of drops before that. So I think he needs to step up and make some plays. I know that you're kind of using them in the backfield and kind of use them on speed sweeps, but he's going to have to step up and make some big plays because who's your big play receiver or big play guy on the offense? It's actually Ben Johnson, not A.J. Brown. So A.J. Brown's going to have to step up. And just like what you said, the running back position, you had Foreman that had 11 for 30. You had Peterson 8 for 21. So we need a back that's going to keep moving the chains, a guy that's going to, make sure that they can get down the field. So, if they can do that and Tannehill plays well, I think they'll be okay. But Tannehill has to take care of the football.
I think this is also a game. We saw a little bit of creativity out of Todd Downing last week with A.J. Brown running the football. I think you could see more of that today. I mean, we mentioned the weather in the first segment and what kind of a factor that's going to be. If it's pouring down rain, you don't expect Tannehill slinging the ball everywhere. But A.J. Brown does need to be a factor because, as you mentioned, and it's well documented. He talked about it this week of his mental health and all of that. But I think he needs a big day just for him, just for his confidence.
I mean, just get that first catch. I mean, even if it's a 20 or 30-yard catch, it'll put confidence in him because you look at the last couple of games, you can look in his eyes. He's not playing with the same confidence that he played with the first couple of games. So if he could actually do that and feel confident, I mean, he's going to be hard to stop. But if you just look in his eyes, something deep down is going on with A.J. Brown, but he's got to step up and make some plays today.
I thought what A.J. did this past week was courageous.
Absolutely.
And, there was a time, Chris, even when you played, where that was verboten. That would never come up in conversation. And it just, it sort of gives you, a certain view into dealing with mental illness because – he talked about last year.
And he had a great season.
He had a great season, and people are going, well, you're having a great season. What's there to be depressed about? Well, that's not the way depression works.
But can I jump on that? Sometimes it's not even about football.
No, you're right. You're right.
Because, and I'll share this, and somebody kind of knows. Like, when I retired from the NFL, I kind of went through this exact same situation. And, I was at a point to where, I went through divorce, got some things taken from me, and I wanted to basically end my life. So I understand what he's going through. And I'm not just saying it because it's cliche, so it's kind of cute to say that when you're in that state of depression, you got to find somebody to walk beside you, not tell you what you need to change, to walk with you and say, you know what, I understand what you're going through. I understand you're going through this depression, but let me help you out of this situation and remind you of who you are and not what you are.
Yeah, you think about things that you normally wouldn't.
Right.
Small problems become magnified. You're right, and I thought it was great that he sought out professional help and learned how to deal with it.
True.
And felt like he could be a spokesman and just another reason why the Titans love A.J. Brown as a person as much as a player.
And we're human.
Yeah, and I'll applaud Mike Vrabel for backing him up too because I thought that as tough of a shell as Vrabel has. I thought some of his answers when that came up in his portion of the media availability were very well thought out, and you can tell it just backs up what the players always say about him. He's a player's coach, and he has their back. He's been in those situations before as a player and can relate to it, and it's a different NFL. It's a different time. I mean, it's guys are more open and allowed to be more open. I think that's a good thing.
Well, Vrabel's very demanding. And so is his coaching staff, but he also recognizes that his players are people. They're it's not all football. And you're right. Anything off the field or whatever. He's had an open door and he's been very understanding and compassionate. And we know this is a tough business. It can be a very cold business, but. I just really like the way that A.J. Brown dealt with it.
Looking at the offense, Des Fitzpatrick finally got the call up.
Uh-oh.
We don't know what he is. 4th round pick. Don't know what he is. He got 1 catch for 0 yards, but hey, he was in the mix.
Yep.
But with the injuries the way they are right now, you're going to need – this is the make a play. Floyd, hey, make a play. Can he make a play? Do you think, Chris, that now that, he's got a little bit of confidence because he's on the team, he's worked his way back, that he can be in a position to do something?
Yeah, I think preparation, meets opportunity. This is a great opportunity for him to go out and show that he can, he can go out and play this game. He got drafted the 4th round. Everybody was expecting him to be on the other side because Davis left. But this is a great moment to showcase your ability. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Look at Derek Mason. Nobody really knew who Derek Mason was. Derek Mason on our Super Bowl run, he was the 6th receiver. Once Derek Mason got his opportunity, he had an opportunity to showcase his skill set and say, you know what, I am one of the best wide receivers in this league. So now you got Fitzpatrick. He's got to go in there, know his assignments, understand what they're doing, and just make a play. That's all you got to do. If you catch a 60-yard pass or a 40-yard pass, that's going to build some confidence. If you build confidence, it's going to add on to so many more things.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about that. And that's what they're going to need as they try and get this offense going.
Yeah, there's a lot of Philadelphia Eagles the year they won the Super Bowl in this team.
Yeah.
In that the Eagles survived an incredible wave of injuries. And guys it was next man up. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And, we've seen that with the Titans, and I guess we'll find out more today.
And just look, they drafted him for a reason. They drafted Fitzpatrick for a reason.
They saw something.
What did you just say?
They saw something.
They saw something. So now if I'm a coach, listen to me, if I'm Rob Moore, I picked you because I saw something in you. So now I need to remind him that I saw you make plays at Louisville. I saw you make plays. I saw you catch a slant. I saw you catch a hitch. I saw you catch a 9-route. Remind this cat of who he was. I'm going to give you a perfect example. When I coach at Montgomery Bell Academy, I know I'm getting excited, but a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, congrats, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. A couple of weeks ago, my receivers dropped a couple of balls. So what I did, as opposed to cussing them out and yelling at them, what I did is I started to remind them of what they could do. What happened this week in one of the biggest games of the year? Both of the guys that dropped passes caught touchdowns this week.
Yeah.
It ain't that they couldn't do it anymore. They just need to be reminded of what they were and what they can do, and that's exactly what Fitzpatrick needs.
You got a stud at quarterback, too.
He's a dog, too, man.
Jim Tressel is famous for telling his assistant coaches, you yell praise and you speak quietly when it comes to criticism. But in Fitzpatrick's defense, there was just a crazy numbers game at wide receiver that we hadn't seen with the Titans in a long time. And
it's paying off.
And they kind of got the business end. So, and he was known at Louisville as a slow developer. They knew that. So hopefully he's kind of gotten over the hump and he's on an upward trajectory. But he's going to get a chance. I mean, we thought that he'd spend the year on the practice squad, and maybe the Titans thought that that was a possibility. But now he's got an opportunity to get out there and play some snaps. You see guys like Marcus Johnson, Westbrook Ikeen. I mean, a lot of guys who have been around the league, Cam Batson even before that, guys who have been knocked around the league and played for a lot of different teams. And it literally, Chris, is sink or swim. You either get, what do they say? You either get better or you get worse. And there are guys that you really have to admire, have gotten cut 7-8 times and come back. So hopefully with Fitzpatrick, maybe the light got turned on.
And I think, too, and I was talking to TD, is they were making Fitzpatrick learn 2 and 3 positions. Now he's just learning one position, because if you don't know the whole playbook, you start to second-guess yourself and you can't play with confidence. Now he's just learning the X position, and he can just focus on that. And I think he's going to be spectacular in this game.
No doubt about it. When we come back, we'll go inside the defensive playbook. And again, Inside the Playbook brought to you by E2 Roofing. Trust the roofers with integrity. E2 Roofing, a veteran-owned and operated local Nashville roofer. We'll come back with more here on NFL Pregame on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
That's Jeffrey Simmons, who's having the night of night.
Can Jeffrey Simmons and the Titans defense rise up again on their home turf?
Touchdown, Anthony Auclair.
Or will the one-win Texans have other ideas?
No can do.
Tune in all day Monday for full reaction to Titans-Texans. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Nashville, looking to spruce up your home for the holidays? Social Furniture on the West Side has you covered. They're packed with items you can either take home with you or have them delivered to you the same day. You've heard of inventory shortages. Well, not at Social Furniture. At Social Furniture, you can get your new furniture today. Yes, the same day. For instance, take this designer leather sectional. For not $3,000, it's only $1,299 with today's delivery. At Social Furniture, the savings are huge out there. They're located on the West Side, 5412 Charlotte Avenue near White Bridge Road. Maybe you need some chairs for your table, or you have guests for the holidays and need furniture fast. Well, you can find it all at Social Furniture. They have thousands of combinations to choose from, and they'll deliver today. And guess what? The best thing is you don't have to pay today. You can take 12 months to pay with no interest. So load up the family and come to Social Furniture today on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville.
Family Leisure's Ultimate Game Room Sale is back.
Huge discounts up to 50% off on all kinds of game room furniture and accessories.
Slate full tables from Brunswick and Legacy full tables. Prices starting as low as $14.99 installed.
Perfect for Christmas.
Family Leisure has huge savings on massage chairs. Full body massage chairs starting at only $9.99. 4D massage chair more than half off at $29.99.
Family Leisure guarantees to beat anyone's advertised home theater seating prices. Shuffleboards, foosball, and air hockey tables on sale as well.
That's Family Leisure at both locations, Franklin and Antioch.
A little holiday mischief is brewing in Rock Bottom, Nashville. Wicked Elf Ale is back and ready to cause some trouble. Toast to the season with unique Belgian beer with festive notes of spices, stone fruit, and holiday spirits. It's only available for a limited time, so grab a pint before it's gone. 25 cents of each pint sold will go to Toys for Tots. Rock Bottom Nashville has karaoke every Tuesday from 8 p.m. till midnight, so grab a pint or two while rocking on the mic. Visit Rock Bottom Nashville, 111 Broadway, Nashville's original brewery downtown.
Hey, it's time for the Game Nashville Deal of the Week from Brooklyn Bowl. Go to thegamenashville.com and get your half-off $30 gift card and roll on over to Brooklyn Bowl for your new favorite bowling experience. The new venue holds 19 state-of-the-art lanes with food and beverage service and comfy leather seating for you and your crew. You can even watch your favorite artists live from the lanes with an incredible view. So head online to thegamenashville.com and get your half-off $30 gift card to Brooklyn Bowl now while they last.
Hey Nashville, Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee here, inviting you to tune in on ESPN 94.9 every Monday at 6 p.m. for the Commodore Hour, providing you with exclusive insights on Vanderbilt athletics.
What are the keys to victory on the defensive side of the ball for the two-tone blue? Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard go inside the playbook. Brought to you by E2 Roofing. This is the NFL Pregame on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
That's right, inside the defensive playbook, brought to you by E2 Roofing. Chase McCabe, Chris Sanders, Mark Howard here with you as this is one of those games that on paper I look at it and I go, this should be a really good day for the Titans defense. But as we have been discussing throughout the show, I am nervous because when I think that, I get bit and they play down or what have you, things go wrong. But Chris, your defensive keys for this Titans team would be what?
I mean, they got to get off on third down. Get off on third down and give the offense get the offense back the ball and not give up the explosive plays. I mean, just like what we talked about earlier with Jackson, Jenkins, Mold, and Byard and Hooker, they're going against Cook, Collins, Conley, and Amendola. I didn't even know Amendola was on the team. So they just got to make sure that they don't give up the explosive plays. Because if you look at last week, the Tennessee Titans secondary played okay against the Saints, but they still got caught and got some explosive plays thrown on. So if they can prevent that and the defensive line gets to Tyrod Taylor, I think the Tennessee Titans are going to have a great day.
Titans have gotten very good in the secondary at tackling.
Yep.
The opposition has not had a lot of yards after catch. Brandon Cooks is somebody they're going to have to cover today. There's no question about that. And I don't know if that means Jackrabbit Jenkins or Fulton or whatever. But, they're going to have to, figure out a way to neutralize Cooks. The running backs catch the ball. They've got Phillip Lindsay, the former Bronco.
He's good.
They've got David Johnson. And this is a team that throws the ball sort of a disproportionate amount of time. I mean, this is this is an offense that can get you off the field pretty quick and not in a good way. But that, you know, the other thing that the Titans have gotten very good at is that interior rush, whether it's in the A gap or the B gap or whatever. When you come right at a quarterback, Chris, and you know this, it rattles most quarterbacks because they're worried about the follow-through on throwing the ball. They're worried about hitting a helmet and breaking their hand. They're really, really sensitive about that, you know, for a number of reasons. And a lot of times, you know, you rush that guy right up the middle, and he's going to freeze. Now, Tyrod Taylor has some mobility, but this is, again, a day where the Titans pass rush should have a lot of wins.
Yep, and it's funny because Jared wanted to fire Shane Bowen. I mean, the first day he wanted to fire him. But if you look at Shane Bowen has done.
I did too, for the record.
Yeah,
so.
but he's done a great job. Look at what he did against Stafford against the Rams. And I mean, if you look at Stafford, he was confused at what they did in the secondary, what they did up front. I mean, if you saw the sack that Simmons got, he did a twist. I mean, things like that are confusing the quarterback.
But that interior rush set that up.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
How important is it to have Derek Roberson back, knowing that Bud Dupree, he's had flashes for you. Now he's on IR. Derek Roberson has been a nice depth player. He's a Vrabel-type player. I remember when he was an undrafted guy, I listening to Vrabel talk about him. And when Vrabel talks about a player, there's a reason he's talking about a player. He was very high on Roberson. Now he is back. Now we'll see what kind of impact he can have. But you talk about an effective pass rush. Having him available, if Dupree not being available, has to be big.
Well, I think that, you know, it's going to be Roberson's job to make sure Harold Landry doesn't get too many snaps. You know, what we've seen with Harold Landry is less is more.
Yep.
And Roberson's a guy, who came on as a, you know, undrafted free agent, and he's done a phenomenal job. And, you know, this is one area where this organization, you know, to me, you know, has really shined, and that is, you know, finding those undrafted free agents and coaching them up, and they become contributors. And now, you know, Roberson's going to get a chance because Dupree went on IR. Again, the Titans playing the long game here, you know, trying to manage guys, whether it's through load management or just keeping them out, because at the back end of this season, that's where they're going to need a lot of these guys as healthy as possible. And in the meantime, guys like Roberson, that helps build depth.
Yeah.
And when you have depth, it makes your starting players even better because you don't have them out there playing every snap.
That has always been my thing when it's like the last 3 off seasons we've had the conversation of Titans need to develop a pass rush. They need to improve the pass rush. And they go out and they get the guy. They go, you know, Bud Dupree was the big signing this year. Clowney was the big signing last year. That's great.
Yeah.
But what's behind him? What are you drafting behind him? You know, they drafted DeAndre Walker a few years ago out of Georgia, which I was disappointed that didn't work out. I actually thought he'd be a good depth piece. Roberson has been a depth piece. But it's finding the players behind the big money guy, because you're going to need that, and we've seen it this year.
Well, and another example is a linebacker, Monty Rice. Whether
Yes,
it's for Rashaan Evans, you know, it doesn't really matter. You know, either the, you know, David Long being hurt. Monty Rice has stepped in and really has done.
I remember that draft show, by the way, when Monty Rice got drafted. I thought Jared was going to fall out of his chair.
But again, a little perspective. Monty Rice, his last year with Georgia, had a bad foot. And that's why he got downgraded.
Yeah.
Good scouting by the Titans to recognize that this guy could be even more than a special teams player. They loved him. They love his speed. And, you know, we're starting to see it, that he has been – I mean, think about the draft. I mean, look at where everybody is. Yeah. We barely saw Caleb Farley. We're going to see Radens today. But really, for the most part, guys like Monty Rice have sort of saved this draft class this year.
I mean, if you look at Roberson, the reason why I love Roberson, he's good with his hands, he's physical, but he reminds me of a guy kind of like the same one like Josh Evans. I'm not saying he's exactly like Josh Evans, but just that mentality of I'm going to get the quarterback. I don't care wherever you put me, what technique you put me, I'm going to get the quarterback. And Josh Evans, man, you know, rest his soul, to watch him be undrafted, to watch him overcome adversity, and to watch him sick the quarterback, Roberson can be that same guy. Roberson can be that same guy.
You know, it's funny, too. going into this season, I felt like that there was one contract that could potentially be up for grabs at middle linebacker, and either Rashaan Evans or Jayon Brown was going to get it. Now I look at that position and I go, I don't know if either one of them are going to be back, because you have Rice that's coming on. Obviously, we know about David Long.
Yeah.
It's going to make tough decisions. We talked about that with Floyd having to make those tough decisions. It's going to make a tough decision even tougher for John Robinson, in my opinion.
Yeah, Jayon Brown is a guy I really like, but he gets hurt a lot.
Yep.
When you're an undersized guy like he is out there, it's a battle of attrition. Rashaan Evans definitely is not coming back, and I still can't believe that he wasn't a home run.
I know.
I mean, it's
disappointing.
Because you look at the guy and you see some of his highlights at Alabama, and I just thought that he would be awesome on this defense. And he's made some plays. He's been okay, but he has fallen short, I think, of what they expected.
I just look at Jayon Brown. Jayon Brown came in last week. I know he's been hurt, quite a bit early in the season, but he still came in with some big tackles this past week. But just like what Mark said, he's kind of a little bit undersized. He's continuously hurt, but he makes flashes. He's a guy who makes flashes, but you got to be available on the field to make plays.
Jim Wyatt of Titans or TennesseeTitans.com tweeted out 2 different tweets that say 2 key Titans will be inducted into the Titans-Oilers Ring of Honor. I wonder who this could be. The first one is a picture of a blue mustache.
Blue mustache?
It's a mustache. And the other one says, "Hey, Bo."
Oh.
Very well done by the Tennessee
Absolutely.
Titans as Floyd Reese and Jeff Fisher go into the Ring of Honor today. I laughed when I saw that a few minutes ago. There you go. Inside the Playbook, brought to you by E2 Roofing. Trust the roofers with integrity. E2 Roofing, a veteran-owned and operated local Nashville roofer. When we come back, you'll hear from the head coach, Mike Vrabel, and he's keys to the game. Plus, we'll get you inactives. That's all next on NFL Pregame here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Your speaker at home is so smart that even Alexa knows where to find Nashville's best sports talk.
102.5 The Game is Nashville's best sports talk.
Ask Alexa to enable 102.5 The Game. Once enabled, ask Alexa to play 102.5 The Game.
Welcome to 102.5 The Game.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Your chance to get that rare, hard-to-find luxury timepiece is here at Genesis Diamonds. This weekend at Genesis, we're hosting the largest luxury pre-owned Rolex event ever held in Tennessee, just in time for the holidays. Genesis has found and purchased a spectacular selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches, all the hottest models that people wait years for, and we're showcasing them all this weekend. Hulks, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, Batmans, rare luxury timepieces you can't find anywhere else. It's this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Come early. Get the first pick and get 60 months financing. How about a luxury pre-owned two-tone Submariner for only $299 a month, or a ladies 36mm date just for only $199 a month. Also for this event, our pre-owned Rolex buyers are on site, offering top dollar for your luxury pre-owned Rolex. Come see the largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches in Tennessee and take advantage of special financing this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only, and only at Genesis Diamonds, your new home for luxury pre-owned Rolexes.
312 Pizza Company is Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria, and they're now hiring. Work for a family-owned business and be a part of their incredible team. 312 Pizza Company is hiring for all positions, including host, waitstaff, bartenders, cooks, and more. 312 Pizza Company offers health insurance and paid time off to full-time employees. Contact Kimberly at 615-730-7888 or email at contact@312pizzaco.com. 312 is an equal opportunity employer.
Basketball fans celebrate the NBA's 75th anniversary season on FanDuel Sportsbook. Joe Rexrode here to let you know, folks, that new customers can place their first bet risk-free, and if you don't win, you'll get up to $1,000 back. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, now's the perfect time. Look, the same-game parlays are awesome. You can go with the overall result, money line, point spread, but you got over-under. You got all these individual props. So far early in this season, man, I really like what I'm seeing from the Warriors. I really don't like what I'm seeing from the Lakers. I tell you what, watch out for those Memphis Grizzlies. And on FanDuel, watch out for ease of use.
Great live betting, fast withdrawals, get your winnings as little as 2 hours, and great odds boosting specials. No better place to bet on the NBA than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Download the app, sign up using promo code Joe102, get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Make every moment more this NBA season. That's promo code Joe102. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued is now drawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Hey, this is Becca Rene. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
NFL pregame rolls on here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Chase McCabe, Mark Howard, Chris Sanders, Forever Titans wide receiver, here with you. And everything is brought to you by TriStar Moving, Parman Tractor and Equipment, FreedomTireGuys.com, FanDuel Sportsbook, E2 Roofing, Hillside Medical, Social Furniture, and Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. We're live at the Rock Bottom Brewery here on Broadway. Got a beautiful view of Nissan Stadium, even though it is a little cloudy. And, yes, rain is in the forecast, which, not great, not obviously, but we'll see as they honor Jeff Fisher and the late, great GM Floyd Reese today. Let's get to our Mike Vrabel's keys to the game and the inactive list. We'll get that in just a second. It's all brought to you by Hillside Medical. Let's hear from the head coach, Mike Vrabel.
Something that we've always preached, and I think that every week is different. Every week is a new challenge. They have so many new starters, new players. I think that when you talk about teams in your division, you tend to have a pretty good feel for who they are, what the personnel is, and that's new. That's new for us, just the way that the team is constructed. So we'll have to learn personnel. We'll have to learn some of the scheme is different. There's some carryover, obviously, with Tim. But it's going to be critical that we learn who these guys are, especially defensively. It's a different style of defense than what we're used to against the Texans.
Basically, you don't know what the heck is going on. That's what he said. All that coach talk.
And I'm glad he said that because I think we make too big of a deal sometimes, and I've been guilty of it too, of Mike Vrabel was the defensive coordinator for 1 year with the Houston Texans. And it's like, oh, he knows the Texans inside and out.
He doesn't.
That was 5 years ago.
And it's different coaches and different players, so you got to get to learn. And the way you learn, you might not learn it until halftime because they do things, and that's why, the coaches and the offensive coach, the defensive coach, and the head coach, that's why they come together at halftime to figure out what they're doing. You don't see teams get better until after halftime.
Kind of an interesting coaching contrast. David Culley, a lifer in terms of being an assistant. Was at Pittsburgh during some of their really good years under Bill Cowher. Coached under Andy Reid at Philadelphia, for a long time. And then went to Baltimore and coached under John Harbaugh. And he finally got his chance to be a head coach. And they just gave him an absolute dog meat team. Where Vrabel got the chance almost immediately. Was only in the league for a couple of years as a coach. I think 1 year as a coordinator, and he's a head coach. And it's been a great hire, but interesting contrast.
Just kind of, we was talking about it earlier that this game kind of scares you.
Yeah.
And the reason why it kind of scares me too is because even though these teams know each other, it's still unfamiliar because you have different coaches, you have different players. I mean, look at their defense. I mean, name the guys that were on the team last year. It's not too many because a lot of them are gone. Look at the quarterback situation. Deshaun Watson's not there. When's the last time the Tennessee Titans played against Tyrod Taylor? So it's so many things. It's so many elements that are big in this game, though. Even though everybody's looking, okay, Houston's 1-8 and we're 8-2. Oh, that sounds great. But at the end of the day, if you don't figure out what the Texans are doing on defense and offense and special teams, you're going to find yourself getting beat.
Well, and the Texans have done. Bill O'Brien should be, in general manager jail, with just the way that he absolutely destroyed this team. They traded away DeAndre Hopkins. Mm-hmm. I'm still not sure why, but there might be a better reason within the organization.
Texans fans aren't either.
Yeah, but just making trades, mortgaging their future, giving up draft picks. It's unless you win. It's a terrible way to go. It's hard to take back. You look on their roster right now. If we went up and down, there aren't a whole lot of players you want on your team. I was thinking Zach Cunningham maybe. He went to Vanderbilt. Is a really good linebacker. But other than that, they don't have a lot.
No, Zach Cunningham would probably be the only one that I would want. And Bill O'Brien, don't get me started on him. I'm not a huge Billy O coaching or GM fan, but that's just me.
Yeah, but let me go down the list. That's funny that y'all said. I'm going to go down the list and see if you know any of these guys.
Oh, this should be good.
Okay, Malik Collins. Nope. Jacob Martin. Neville Hewitt.
Nope.
Desmond King.
Yep.
Eric Murray.
Desmond King was here last year.
Yeah, I know. Justin Reed. That tells you. Justin Reed. Terrence Mitchell. I mean, but last year you say those names, you be like, whoa, there's some dogs on there. So, hey, even though it's different players, you still got to go and play ball.
Inactives just coming out for the Titans versus the Texans. David Long, Rashawn Evans, Nate Davis, Jeremy McNichols, Jeff Swaim, Greg Maben, and Jackrabbit Jenkins.
Why is he out?
He did not practice on Friday. He was, I think he was actually doubtful. So Jackrabbit Jenkins will not play today.
Well, Breon Borders becomes a very important guy today.
Absolutely. I think the one big one is McNichols. Because what running back?
Sure.
I know Foreman kind of caught the ball out the backfield a little bit on the screen, but when it comes to 3rd and long, who's going to be that running back to catch the ball outside of the field?
Foreman.
Yeah, but that was.
I mean, I think you're going to have to use both of them. I mean, Peterson can do it a little bit, but I'm still waiting. And Vrabel's been asked about this, for one guy to kind of take it and run with it.
Yes.
And I just don't know if that's necessarily going to happen. I think it could be Foreman more so than Peterson.
But there's a reason why they weren't playing on a team before the Titans got him.
Fair point.
I hate to say that, but that's just a fact. And they're trying to, again, just sort of survive with these guys. And maybe Derrick Henry comes back, maybe he doesn't.
But do you think the time is going to run out for them to do that? To keep, switching running backs and not find a dominant running back?
No, you can have running back by committee. Listen, those guys know what the deal is.
Yeah, absolutely.
When Peterson came here, he knew he wasn't going to get 20 carries a game. He's a stopgap. And I'm sure they said, we'll see what happens. I don't think they made a whole lot of promises other than, you've got a chance here.
But I'm just saying, do you think it'll catch up with the Titans? You just imagine you play a team in the playoffs and you're down by 14 to 21 points. When that situation happens, we always dependent on Derrick Henry to come back and save the day. So we don't have a guy in the running back situation that's going to come and save the day. So I think, is that going to catch up with the Titans later on down the road?
Conceivably. I think it's going to catch up with them next week in Foxborough, to be honest with you.
They are playing ball.
But again, you just want to keep racking up the wins.
Yep.
Very easily, the Colts could lose again today, which would bring the Titans even closer to clinching the division. And that might not sound significant, but I think it is. And, that would obviously punch their ticket to the playoffs. But, yeah, when you have a chance to – Chris, you remember.
Yeah.
You want to get that first round bye. Even, it didn't work out for you guys that year. But still –
the first round bye always scares me too.
I don't like it.
You still, it would be a good thing to have if you're the Tennessee Titans.
I don't like the bye. I don't know why. I don't like it.
Well, it's momentum, and especially because a lot of teams, and the Titans would probably be in this position. Week 18 now, you rest a lot of guys, and so it's kind of like 2 weeks off, and so you kind of lose some of that. Inactives for the Texans, obviously Deshaun Watson, quarterback Jeff Driscoll, defensive back Cravion LeBlanc, running back Royce Freeman, defensive lineman Jonathan Greenard, as we talked about earlier, wide receiver Davion Davis, and tight end Jordan Akins. They're inactives
I have
today.
no idea who they are.
You never heard of Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, I heard Deshaun Watson and Greenard, but other than that, man, that's like me and you out there.
I mean, basically.
Yeah.
Basically it is. There's videos of A.J. Brown warming up, people asking, if he's going to have a big day for this team. What would be in the rain? What's a big day?
It's funny because I had some of my best games in the rain. We played against the Jets my second year, and I caught I think 82-yarder. So the defensive back, they're going to slip.
Well, because you're a stud. So
I don't mean it like that. But I think it benefits the offense because a lot of times the defense doesn't know where you're going.
Who benefits on a rainy field where the track isn't perfect? The precise route runners or the guys with speed?
The route runner, precise route running.
Because you're probably less likely to get the long ball.
Yep. And
because of that.
And also too, if you know the route that you're running, you know how to control your body. The defensive back doesn't know where you're going. So if you base your route off a 9, when I say base off the 9, that means you're coming off the ball 100 miles an hour, and he starts to play the deep route and he can't start and stop. That benefits me because I know where I'm going. And that's why I think it's better for the offense in the rain than the defense.
I'll tell you a funny story. When I was in high school, Chris, you coached with Dan McGugin, right,
yes,
at
I did,
NBA.
yeah.
So Dan McGugin was at FRA. He was head coach when I was there. I was the manager. It was my senior year. We're playing at Fairview High School, and it is a just gully washer. But the whole game, and that's what it's going to be. So before the game, he's like, Chase, you have the most important job of anybody on this field tonight. And I said, what's that, coach? And he goes, keep the footballs dry.
That's a very important.
And my dad gave me this giant raincoat that he had. So I had like 3 footballs tucked under the raincoat with the thing that I kept them all in that was covered in everything. So every play, I'm looking at the ref. And he says, you tell the ref that you're switching the football out every play. And the ref goes, we'll try and get it every play. And coach comes over and goes, we're switching it out every play. So every play, the ref's running over. And I'm throwing a new football, wiping it down, covering him up. It's a very difficult thing to do, let me just tell you.
Yeah, but it keeps the ball dry as best as it can because as a quarterback, especially with Tannehill, everybody talks about him having small hands and not protecting the football. This can benefit Tannehill by making sure he has a dry ball.
The Inactive List and Vrabel's Keys to the Game brought to you by Hillside Medical Clinic. When we come back, we'll talk to our man TD, Teron Davenport. That's on the other side here on NFL Pregame, ESPN 105 The Game.
Jared Stillman.
It's kind of a big deal around here. Kind of a big deal in these parts.
And company.
It's not just the trust, it's the way he gets open, and it's the routes that he runs.
Tune in Stillman and Company for your drive home. Delivered by TriStar Moving. Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee ensures children and teens, especially those who need us most, are ready to read, ready for class, ready to graduate, ready for their career, and ready to serve the community. You can support local youth and their great futures by donating at bgcmt.org.
Sidebar is the in-house cocktail bar at the Boat Hotel in downtown Nashville and is a one-of-a-kind bar experience, serving cocktails, beer, wine, and bar bites. Join 102.5 The Game Sunday, November 28th at the Sidebar in the Boat Hotel to watch your Titans take on the New England Patriots as the Two-Tone Blue march towards the AFC playoffs. Come hang out with the game and enter to win tickets to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Dierks Bentley, a 2-night stay in the Boat Hotel, Sidebar gift cards, and more. Must be on site to win. The Boat is located at 401 2nd Avenue South in Sobro. Tighten up. Are you having Thanksgiving at your house but have no furniture and have no clue where to go? Well, Social Furniture is here to help you get your home ready for hosting your family's Thanksgiving dinner with their great dining room sets. Social Furniture is locally owned and save up to 70% on all furniture that will have your family begging to stay. They have sofas, sectionals with chase lounge, and recliners that are all push-button, electric, and wall away. They have all colors to choose from, and for your comfort, all of them are plus leather, microfiber, and Chanel's. Let Social Furniture help you celebrate your Thanksgiving with hundreds of furniture to choose from and save up to 70%. There's no waiting, and take home your new holiday furniture today or with their same-day fine furniture delivery. That's right, Social Furniture has same-day delivery with no down payments and no interest. Visit Social Furniture in West Nashville at 5412 Charlotte Avenue. Forget the big box store. Support local. Support social. On the web at mysocialfurniture.com.
Nashville Soccer Club. Feel the excitement.
Sapong returns to Layal, scores!
Of Major League Soccer.
It's a good cross! It's a headed goal!
In the Music City.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Nashville is home for me.
Your home for every moment of the action is Nashville's home for ESPN Radio.
ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Nashville wins it!
Contest rules for 102.5 The Game and ESPN 94.9, including on-air, online, and text-based contests, are available by visiting the contest rules page at thegamenashville.com. Good luck, and thanks for listening to 102.5 The Game and ESPN 94.9.
Tuesday night.
Oh, he scored! The boys in gold lead!
Playoff action comes to Music City with Nashville SC looking to continue their home dominance against Orlando City FC. Coverage begins at 6:45
on ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app. It's game day for the two-tone blue. And we're inching closer to kickoff. This is the NFL pregame with Jared Stillman, forever receiver Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard. Now, let's get an update from the stadium with ESPN's Teron Davenport, brought to you by Freedom Tire Guys on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Yes, sir. We head over to Nissan Stadium and say hello to our good pal TD, Teron Davenport, as the Titans get ready to take on the Texans. TD, how we doing?
Hey, what's going on?
You know, feeling good today. The weather, not so good, but the Titans are going to be without Jackrabbit Jenkins. He is on the inactive list, fighting an injury, and with a secondary that's been a revolving door, how much does that concern you today?
Yeah, I think there should be somewhat of a level of concern, but at the same time, you have another week of Christian Fulton, so that's a positive thing. One of the things that you will miss in Jackrabbit Jenkins is just that communication and some of the things that, you know, he's been able to do with Kevin Byard, which have led to some interceptions. That's something that will be missed, but, I mean, next man up, that's the mindset that this team has with everybody, including Derrick Henry, so that's how we're going to go about watching this game today.
TD, do you think we're going to see Bud Dupree before the playoffs?
I do. I think he'll be back. I would expect to see him sometime, before that Steelers game. I think that's a game that's really important for him to be back for. And from some of the sources that I spoke to, that's the week where they expect to have him ready to go.
You know, just kind of talking about the wide receivers, you know, A.J. Brown came out and is going through the situation with, you know, depression. But what does he need to do to really have a breakout game today? Because you look at last week against the Saints, he had one catch for 16 yards and one for 6 yards, and then he struggled the past week. What does he need to do to have a breakout game?
I think really it comes down to just dialing in and putting all the stuff aside. And when I say all the stuff aside, I'm not talking about the depression and the stuff that he was dealing with last year. I'm talking about just the inability to catch the football consistently, you know, and I think that's something that he just has to put aside, the fact that he wants to make plays, get yards after the catch. That's something that you got to just let it happen naturally. And when you press, you know, as a receiver, you can't press. Absolutely. And when you do that, that's when problems come.
Teron Davenport here with us. And TD, you know, you look at the Texans, you know, this is a team in a rebuild. On paper, they're not very good. But what are some things that they do that you think the Titans are going to have to look out for today?
Yeah, I think they find ways to get Brandon Cooks the football and utilize all of his ability, whether it's the ability to go up and attack the football or it's the ability to outrun DBs. You know, he's a 4-3 guy, a true 4-3 guy. And I think, you know, when you look at what he brings to the table, he's a tough cover, and he's someone that they do a lot of things just as far as, like, you know, moving him around the formation and those type of things to get matchups. So that's one thing they do. They do a good job of showcasing their top playmaker on offense.
We, of course, are speaking to Teron Davenport, the terrific Titans beat writer from ESPN and ESPN.com. And, yeah, really. TD, let me ask you about Tannehill. His inaccuracy spells really bother me. Have they pinpointed anything, or is it just a matter of the circumstances and the pass rush that make him do that?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of the circumstances, the pass rush. Sometimes I think that clock, that mental clock that he has, the internal clock, I think is just kind of being sped up a little bit, you know what I mean, because there are issues, you know, with some of the protection, and that is causing him to rush some of the throws, and as a result, you know, his feet are off platform, right, and the mechanics of being able to step forward and deliver and follow through aren't happening all the time. So that's really what it is. But, I mean, it's something that they're going to have to get figured out, you know, especially knowing that, you know, Derrick Henry's not walking through that door anytime soon. So, you know, it's really shifting from a run foundation as far as, like, the big plays are concerned to Ryan Tannehill finding ways to push the ball down the field and get big plays that way. So that is something they're going to have to get together.
You know, just looking at the running back situation, you had Foreman that had 11 for 30. Last week you had Peterson that had 8 for 21. Nichols is going to be out this game. Are you concerned about the running game and it not being proficient that it was before?
Not in this game. I don't think there's reason for concern because this team is 31st, the Texans, that is. They're 31st against the run, which, it means there's a good opportunity to run the football. They're giving up 136 yards per game. So that's something that, you should see them be able to run the football. And I think it's just another week of Adrian Peterson getting behind that line and just, that timing of and knowing where the cutbacks are going to be. I think that's critical. But the thing is, at 36 years old, those eyes, they'll see it, and the brain will tell the feet, to cut back, but it's not always a good marriage, you know what I mean? Because the natural reaction is not there as much. And I think that's why Foreman is actually, running a bit better than Peterson right now.
TD, you talked about Bud Dupree earlier, but Derek Roberson gets activated, and he's a player that I can remember doing the, Chasing TD show with you that we talked about a lot because of all the things that you love to see. He's got that dog in him and just that work ethic. He's a Mike Vrabel type player, but he goes with the depth on the pass rush. I think having him back is going to be big for this team.
Yeah, I think it's going to help, really. But the thing that's pretty interesting is they've been able to find ways to get pressure even without Bud Dupree. Ola Adeni, you can't forget about him and the way that he's able to bend and just, come off the edge that way. But I think Roberson, the thing that absolutely no one talks about is his versatility. Like, he could put his hand in the dirt and rush the passer also. So you could have a four-man front and a pretty nice NASCAR package with him as one of your ends. And then you got Dupree and Autry on the inside and Landry down. You got speed coming off of those edges. So that's a good rush package that you can have, with that front four. And I think Roberson, he does a good job of closing as well. So he's solid against the run. So he'll definitely, be a guy that I think could help out.
TD, you always want to build depth, and I like what they have on the D-line with Naquan Jones and Murchison. What about their contributions and, just their ability, hopefully, to give the Titans some snaps down the stretch?
Yeah, I mean, Naquan Jones, you saw him get a sack. I think it was last week he got one. Murchison, he's just good against the run, and he will get you that pressure on the interior. I think he's a solid depth piece, and that's the good thing. They have the rotation, right? And you saw the Brian Baldinger cut up, right, where T.R. Tart ran from the opposite hash to the sideline, chasing down the quarterback, and without hesitation, Naquan Jones came in. So, that's a good example of just how they have the ability to, help out depth-wise and just, do some really good things for that defensive line.
Yeah, just kind of looking at the Texans offense. I know they have Tyrod Taylor, a guy who's been hurt, but does he scare you a little bit? Because you look at when they played against the Cleveland Browns earlier in the season, if he doesn't get hurt, they have a potentially to win that game. So does he scare you and pose a threat for the Tennessee Titans?
Yeah, I think he should scare them. And it comes down to making it true 11-on-11 football, right? And when you have a quarterback like that could really find the rushing lane and take off if all else fails, it's 3rd and 11. You got everything locked down. You're a man defense, and you're shutting stuff down, and you have it defended well, but he finds a way to step up, find a lane, and he rushes for the first down and steps out of bounds. And you know how frustrating that is for a defense,
Absolutely.
So that's the thing that he brings to the table. But then I think when you look at him and Brandon Cooks, 3 out of 3 starts this year, right? 2 of them, he targeted Cooks 14 times. So that lets you know where he's going with the football. And it goes back to what we said earlier about what they do well, and that's finding ways to get their playmaker, their best playmaker, the ball. So he's someone to absolutely fear, and when you talk about having the ability to run and then throw the ball down the field, I mean, that guy, he can make plays. So he's something to definitely be concerned about.
Teron, how's the weather over there? That's obviously going to be a concern today.
Yeah, when we first came on, there were a few drops, but, I guess the good fortune that you guys bring talking to me, it's held off, but it's definitely gray. It's coming. From what I understand, it's not supposed to truly come until 1 o'clock. So, hey, man, I hope everybody that's not in the box, I hope they brought their rain jackets and they're ready to cover up, because it's going to come. You could tell.
Sam Cassell, be careful out there, man.
We won't exactly. Teron, we won't exactly be overrun by Texans Nation. Today will, be a case of most of the fans in that stadium will be Titans fans.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely going to be a home game for the Titans. I could attest to that.
TD.
Teron, appreciate the time.
Appreciate
as
you,
always, we'll see you over there here in a little bit as our man Floyd Reese goes into the Ring of Honor. Going to be a lot of fun.
Appreciate you, TD.
Yes, can't wait. And why didn't you guys tell me that Artis Gilmore was going to be on the show?
Come on, all right, Alex English.
Amazing grace. All right,
TD,
man. All right.
Appreciate you, Doc.
Teron Davenport. His appearances on NFL Pregame brought to you by Freedom Tire Guys, Nashville's premier mobile tire company, online at freedomtireguys.com. Want to pass this note on. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson out today with an illness. Tyler Huntley going to make his first career start for Baltimore.
They're in trouble.
Yeah, Hollywood Browns out too. I mean,
they might do. I know they probably win their division, but man, they're not playing good football at all.
Yeah, that division's up for grabs by anybody right now in the AFC North.
100%.
When we come back here on NFL Pregame, it's our picks to click. We'll do that next on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Coming up next hour on NFL Pregame, Jared, Chris, and Mark make their picks to click and final predictions for the upcoming game. We're inching closer to kickoff, and you're listening to NFL Pregame on Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Your chance to get that rare, hard-to-find luxury timepiece is here at Genesis Diamonds. This weekend at Genesis, we're hosting the largest luxury pre-owned Rolex event ever held in Tennessee, just in time for the holidays. Genesis has found and purchased a spectacular selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches, all the hottest models that people wait years for, and we're showcasing them all this weekend. Hulks, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, Batmans, rare luxury timepieces you can't find anywhere else. It's this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Come early. Get the first pick and get 60 months financing. How about a luxury pre-owned two-tone Submariner for only $299 a month, or a ladies 36mm date just for only $199 a month? Also for this event, our pre-owned Rolex buyers are on site, offering top dollar for your luxury pre-owned Rolex. Come see the largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches in Tennessee and take advantage of special financing this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only, and only at Genesis Diamonds, your new home for luxury pre-owned Rolexes.
Hey, what's up? It's Chase McKay. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, welcomes you with the lock of the year. Simply place a $10 moneyline wager on any pro football game. If any team scores a touchdown, you'll win $200 in free bets, regardless of your bet's outcome. Just use the bonus code 1025GAME200 when you make your first bet. Enjoy football like never before with BetMGM's live betting options and boosted odds specials at your fingertips all season long. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com. Use that code 1025GAME200 to win $200 in free bets if any pro football team scores a touchdown. It's that simple. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
The Predators win it overtime!
The latest info on the hockey team you love.
And the Preds played fantastic.
With the experts you know.
Those players can be important down the road.
It's not just a game changer, it's a series changer.
Every Monday at 6 on Preds Insiders. Brought to you by Dr. Kelly Rice Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. Hosted by Ryan Porth on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. This is NFL Pregame, and it's time for Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard to make their picks to click. Brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment on Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
We're live at Rock Bottom Brewery here on Broadway, just across the river from Nissan Stadium, as the Tennessee Titans take on the Houston Texans today. NFL Pregame rolls on. Chase McCabe in today for Jared Stillman. He is with the Reese family as Floyd gets ready to go into the Ring of Honor alongside Forever Titans wide receiver Chris Sanders and Mark Howard. It is time for Picks to Click. I am excited about this segment. It's one of my favorites. But, Chris, I'll let you lead us off. We'll start with offense.
I am going to go with Adrian Peterson. The reason I'm going with Adrian Peterson is because the Texans have the 31st. They're ranked 31st in stopping the run. So I think Peterson can have a big day.
So Peterson is the guy that you think is going to have the big day.
I just think he is because he's going to start off the game. I know Foreman's going to come in later on probably on the series. But if he gets off to a fast start, I think Mike Vrabel and Todd Downing is going to stay with Adrian Peterson to get his confidence up, in this game.
Mark?
Interesting.
He does not agree.
I don't see it. A.J. Brown, who I thought last week, maybe for a variety of reasons, I think he got dinged up during the game. I think he has a big game today. Their pass defense is user-friendly, talking about the Texans. So hopefully he and Tannehill can collaborate. And as we know with A.J., a lot of it is yards after catch. And we haven't seen that enough the last couple of games.
Here's what I want to see with him before I give you mine with A.J. Brown. I'd love to see a play on the first series that just go for it. Just try and take Houston out of it right away. And, Chris, the first, 15 plays of the game are always scripted.
Yeah, they are.
And if you know that rain's coming later, would you not want to script some of your big plays early?
Absolutely. There's a couple of things, though. You got to know where you're at on the field. If you're on your 10-yard line, then you maybe have to change it up a little bit. I agree with you 100%. If I see one-on-one with A.J. Brown out there, if I'm Tannehill, I'm checking the ball, checking at the line of scrimmage and say, hey, let's go deep to score early before the rain comes. Great point.
So you made your pick to click as AD all day, Adrian Peterson. I'm going with the other running back because I think it's Deontay Foreman. I believe that Deontay Foreman, this is his, hey, I'm here.
Former Texan, too.
Former Texan, maybe a little revenge in there. I don't know. But Deontay Foreman comes back to the Titans. I have liked him the most since they signed him and Adrian Peterson. I think Deontay Foreman's going to have a big day, especially when the rain comes.
Yeah, that's a very astute, extremely educated guess.
Thank you, sir. Now, the tight ends could play a factor too, Michael Pruitt, because if you're
swing and a miss,
dealing with oh, really? You say swing and a miss? If you're dealing with weather, you're trying to check down, get rid of the ball. The tight ends are an easy option.
Or Casper the Friendly Ghost, Anthony Ferkser.
Yeah, what's going on with him? Like I
don't know.
I think it's more than just opportunities now. I mean, I think it has to do with what they're doing on offense. They're going a lot of 12 personnel.
Maybe he misses Jonnu in the meetings.
I think he misses Jonnu completely. I think everybody misses Jonnu.
Absolutely.
All right, Mark, lead us off on defense.
Come on, defense.
Picks to click.
Well, this one's easy. I think Kevin Byard, who just gives us a big play every week. And he's like Khloe Kardashian. He's an influencer. That's what he does for the Titans.
You got the attention of the audience here.
That's my only hip-hop culture reference of the day.
That's good.
But, I have so much respect for Byard, how smart he is, how prepared he is. I thought he got a bad rap last year because he was just trying to do way too much. I think he's doing a good job of playing within himself this year. And Chris, you got to pick your spots.
Absolutely, 100%.
You can't be jumping routes,
they gonna get
every down. But you learn.
Yes.
And sometimes it's a deflection. A lot of different things can happen. But I'm going with KB.
That's a great pick. I think for me, I'm going to go with Autry. And the reason I'm going with Autry is because Tyrod Taylor is a great quarterback, and I think with him not being big in stature, I think Autry's going to get some sacks, but also bat a couple of balls down. And I know that sounds insignificant, but when you bat balls down, it puts you in 2nd and 10 as opposed to 2nd and 5. So I think Autry's going to have a great and big day.
When the free agent signings came out for the Tennessee Titans, and I saw Danico Autry, everybody was excited about Bud Dupree, and rightfully so. I get it. Good signing, good player. When he gets healthy, I think it's going to pay off. But when I saw Danico Autry, I said, that is going to go down 100%. As the most underrated signing, maybe of John Robinson's tenure. But that was a very good signing because it's that Vanden Bosch and Hainsworth tag team that you have on the defensive line now with Simmons and Autry. So I think that's a very good pick. Mine is going to be Jeffrey Simmons. I think Jeffrey Simmons continues to play as well as we've seen him play. I mean, he's having a career year. I felt going into this season this was going to be the breakout year for Jeffrey Simmons. He was going to put his name on the list of some of the best players at his position in the league, and we've seen that over the course of the last few weeks. So Jeffrey Simmons to me is my pick to click.
He's playing out of his mind. I mean, when he first came in here with the Tennessee Titans, everybody was like, why would you pick a guy that was hurt coming into the draft? It's because the organization saw something in him that was going to be good for them longevity-wise. So I just think that with him playing at the top level, he's just eating up the double team. He's physical. He's using his hands. He's batting balls down. He's just an absolute game wrecker, and that's what you want on a defensive line.
Don't call him the tickle monster.
That is whacked.
He doesn't like that.
Who came up with that?
I don't know, but he doesn't like that.
Tickle monster. Man. Whoever said that need to be in timeout right now.
Picks to click, brought to you by every week by Parman Tractor and Equipment. So our picks to click on offense and defense. I think all very good choices, by the way.
Thanks, man. You're a good guy.
Boy, Jeffrey Simmons, to watch him blossom this year.
Yeah.
And yeah, most of us could see it coming, but still, you got to go out there and do it. And the thing we see with him now is consistency.
Yes.
I also think that Autry has been, a pretty good stablemate.
Yeah.
But boy, Jeffrey Simmons conjures up memories of Albert. He's a different, a little bit different player than Albert. Bigger than Josh Evans, but still, it's amazing to watch him destroy the interior of offensive lines.
And I know comparisons are dangerous to do that, and you're right, they are different players, but you're getting the same effect with an Autry and a Simmons that you had when they brought Vanden Bosch in. They brought Vanden Bosch in, and everybody's like, who's this guy? And it worked because you had Albert getting double teamed. Vanden Bosch is able to get to the quarterback, rack up a bunch of sacks. They were a two-headed monster, and that's what they have been trying to recreate since those days. And Jim Schwartz, who's an advisor on defense, he remembers that, obviously. That was his defense. That got him a head coaching job. Got Albert Hainsworth paid a lot of money. So I think the fact that they have now found that, it also opens up opportunity for Harold Landry on the outside, playing that outside linebacker DN type thing. I think it's all worked well, and this defensive line now looks like that dangerous defensive line, Chris, that you guys had when you played, and also well after.
I just think that who do you double team? I mean, do you double team Simmons or do you double team Autry? And if you double team Autry, Simmons is going to kill you, and if you double team Simmons, Autry is going to kill you. So it just shows you if you have two dominant players, not just players, dominant players that impact the game, it just makes your defense so much better, because then when you have those guys rushing the quarterback and making the quarterback uncomfortable, now you see interceptions by Byron. Now you see the defensive backs playing well. They because I know a lot of people are like, well, why is the secondary playing so well? It's because the front is playing so well. So it's a they're complementary each other, and they're making plays on both sides and facets of the game.
I think now that you've seen that defensive line play better, Mark, that what he said, I mean, the secondary, that you have a revolving door. Now you're getting a little consistency now with Fulton back, but it makes that easier because you're getting so much up front.
Well, it camouflages a lot of your weaknesses.
Yeah.
And we all know the Titans secondary, is not exactly Canton-worthy, but a good pass rush makes those guys a lot better. And the other thing, the thing I love about this defense is they're not asking these guys to do things they can't. But the one thing they all seem to do is tackle well, and the way they're playing, the only way you get down the field against the Titans usually is death by 1,000 paper cuts. You got to just sort of, inch your way down. But, yeah, that pass rush has been awesome.
But, it makes the quarterback make decisions quicker. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. When they played against the Rams, look at that interception that Byard, made. It's because Stafford had to hurry up and make a decision and not go to his first and second and third read. He had to stare down the receiver or the tight end and throw it quickly. But Byard came down and made a play. Why? Because the pass rush was getting there so quick, and that's why the back end is playing so well.
Where do you think Tannehill is confidence-wise right now?
I don't. In my opinion, I know that we look at what he's doing and we're saying that he's playing terrible, but I don't think it's confidence.
I don't think he's playing terrible. I just think there's another level.
I just think that he knows that he's capable of making plays, and even though at the beginning of the games that he's struggling, he's throwing interceptions and he's making turnovers. But the one thing I love about Tannehill, when the game is on the line, they need a drive, he's always on point. So I don't think he's lost his confidence. I know he's making bad, decisions, but at the end of the day, when the game is on the line, he's always there to make the play.
Well, but I'll tell you, too, that Derrick Henry's injury and probably the absence of Julio has made a huge difference. Before Henry went down, 32% of Tannehill's throws were going 10-plus yards down the field. That number now is 24%, from 32 to 24. The Titans have seen a 12% spike of throws behind the line of scrimmage since the big dog suffered his foot injury. The Titans have also regressed offensively, a third of a yard less per play. And if you don't think that's big, it is. But they've been getting by again with a really good pass rush.
When we come back here on NFL Pregame, we'll do our FanDuel Sportsbook update and also our game picks as you listen to NFL Pregame here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
That's Jeffrey Simmons who's having the night of night.
Can Jeffrey Simmons and the Titans defense rise up again on their home turf?
Touchdown! Anthony Auclair!
Or will the one-win Texans have other ideas?
No can do.
Tune in all day Monday for full reaction to Titans-Texans. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It's back. Family Leisure's Ultimate Game Room Sale is back.
Okay, so what's that mean?
That means huge discounts, up to 50% off on all kinds of game room furniture and accessories.
Like what?
Up to 50% off on slate pool tables from Brunswick and Legacy Billiards. Prices start as low as $14.99 installed, plus the matching bars and game tables. Even poker tables to complete our game room are on sale as well. The guaranteed largest selection and lowest prices in the Mid-South.
Wow, perfect for Christmas.
Family Leisure is also featuring huge savings on massage chairs and home theater seating. Full body massage chairs starting at only $9.99. And the top of the line 40 massage chair is more than half off at $29.99.
What about the theater seating?
Family Leisure guarantees to be half off anyone's home theater seating. 3-piece recliner sets start at only $9.99. Full power recline real leather seats are only $19.99.
That's great. And they have stand-up and desktop arcade games with over 600 games, shuffleboards, foosball, and air hockey tables.
It really is the ultimate game room sale.
The ultimate game room sale going on now at both locations, Franklin and Antioch.
Treating erectile dysfunction with acoustic wave therapy has been getting a lot of attention lately. But you should know that some are promising results we just haven't seen and charging a lot of money for the treatments as well. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you're looking at acoustic wave therapy or any option to help your ED, you really should call us first. Unlike wave therapy only clinics, the Tennessee Men's Clinic wave therapy protocols do use acoustic wave technology, but we also often combine it with other treatments that can give most of our patients far higher satisfaction rates. There is no surgery nor any type of invasive procedure required. And even better, depending on your treatment strategy and with our urologist and provider's guidance, you can likely have sex the day after your appointment. We even have other treatments that can help you last up to an hour. Plus, for a limited time, we're waiving our normal appointment charge, which includes a PSA and T test, and offering a free ultrasound, altogether nearly a $400 value, for free. So make an appointment today. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments, extra results vary.
Hey, how's it going?
Great.
This game's gonna be good.
Definitely.
Loser buys?
Sure.
Hey, 2 Dos Equis on this guy.
The game hasn't even started.
And yet, somehow it's already over.
Okay.
A dose of certainty. Brought to you by Dos Equis, proud sponsor of college football. Get a dose. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2021. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Later today, it's our NFL Game of the Week, brought to you by Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys.
Prescott unloading end zone.
Visit Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Mahomes flips, pass, caught, touchdown.
Coverage begins at 2:45
on ESPN
102.5 The Game.
Hey, this is Roman Yossi. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
We're back here on NFL Pregame here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, and it's time for our FanDuel Sportsbook update presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. The latest odds on today's games are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook. And as we look at that for this one, the Titans favored by 10.5 on FanDuel Sportsbook, minus 460 on the money line. But the number that I'm interested in, the over-under, which is 44.5, I lean under today because of the weather. It is and my sportsbook correspondent, Rick, is sitting in the audience. He agrees. He nods with approval.
I agree with you 100%.
Just don't think a lot of points are going to be scored today with the weather being a factor unless, like we've talked about, Chris, you get off to that fast start if you're the Titans and put a lot of points on the board early.
I agree. I mean, you strike first, you get the lead, and also, too, it just creates a momentum. And so also when the rain comes and everything, then it puts a lot of pressure on the other team that has a score.
Now, the 10.5, this is what scares me.
Who picked that on Silly Dog Underpick?
You did. Because you love the Texans. You picked the Texans on Silly.
Yeah, that was your team.
I know.
You would think that you played for them. You played in Houston.
It's almost like you could see the future.
They look good. They look good, though. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
But 10.5, that's a lot. And with the weather, and as I've said, I'm nervous about this game. In our Pick 6 competition on Darren Donica Chase, I did take the 10.5. I think the Titans win, but I did take the 10.5.
I say over.
Or so if
why would they go over?
Over what? Say that again. Do it again.
Well, 10.5.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more than that.
You think the Titans win by more?
I think they're going to win by more than 10.
So you would take?
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Over.
Okay, so you're going to lay the 10.5.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is basically what you're going to do. What do you think of this line, Mark?
It's as
so
simple as the Titans play up and down to the competition. This is a tough spot for them. You know, they're coming off that, that brutal stretch. If you saw them last week against the Saints, not exactly anything to write home about. And I think they're going to win ugly, but I would take the points.
That's how I feel, and then I said the under as well. I feel like under 44.5 is a safe bet today. So there you go, your FanDuel Sportsbook update brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Our final game picks are brought to you every week by Social Furniture, located at 5412 Charlotte Avenue in Nashville. Shop local, shop social. Chris, your official pick for this one today.
I am going Tennessee Titans 31, Texans 10.
31-10.
31-10. And the reason why I'm picking them is I just think that the Tennessee Titans defense is too dominant. And I don't think Tyrod Taylor's going to have a big day. I know they got Cooks at wide receiver and they got Amendola in the slot. I just think that the Tennessee Titans defense is going to be smothering them and create turnovers. 31-10, Tennessee Titans, baby.
Titans 24, Texans 16. Remember, Randy Bullock is going to be fired up for this game, former Texan.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's another former Texan on the team.
Big revenge.
Yeah. Big revenge game. I'm sticking with the theme of nervous. I think the Titans do win, and I think it is going to be 21-14. Low scoring game. So I think 21-14, Texans cover, but Titans do get the win today. I meant to mention this. If you're so inclined, if you're looking for an anytime touchdown scorer, I saw this on Music City Bets. Ryan Tannehill plus 260 to score anytime today, a rushing touchdown. I could totally see the finger roll today by Ryan Tannehill.
I could also see, I think Tannehill's like plus 140 to throw an interception. I would take that.
Yeah, and you hope that you're wrong on that because that's what – really against a team like Houston, that's what you want to see.
History says otherwise.
I know, history says otherwise, but you want to see him take care of the football today.
I think it's going to be one of those, survive in advance.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We started the show talking about Jeff Fisher, Floyd Reese going in the Ring of Honor. They're going to do that at halftime. Chris, I know you're going over
yes,
there. Has it kind of hit you because both of those guys had a big influence on you?
I mean, they were. I mean, if they wouldn't have picked me, I would have never made the all-rookie team. I never would have actually played football in the NFL. So for them to take a chance on me, a guy didn't have a lot of stats in college, and they gave me an opportunity to play in the NFL. So I really take my hat off to Floyd Reese, who I really admire, but also I take my hat off to Jeff Fisher because those two guys that were influential in my life.
Hope the weather's good for the ceremony.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. What do you remember your first conversation with Jeff when you walked in?
No, I heard him on the phone. It was funny because all I can do is hear his mustache. Somebody talked to his mustache. But I mean, he was kind of like really soft-spoken, and how he kind of makes that little weird grin. Like, you ready to play ball, son? I'm like, yeah, and that's it. And that's all what he kind of said to me. But I remember with Floyd Reese when I first actually won the starting job. I think it was after Cincinnati when I had 2 touchdowns, 2 catches for 2 touchdowns. You know how I like throw that in there.
Yeah.
But the next game they told me I was going to be the starter, and Floyd Reese came up to me and he said, "Hey, you ready?" I said, "Yeah."
Say, "Hey, Bo."
Hey, Bo. And that's all he said. And I took it as, man, my general manager believes in me. So I really take my hat off to both of those guys.
That's one thing that when you talk about Mark, John Robinson and Floyd and how intertwined they are. I get, Floyd was a coach. Floyd was a scout. He did everything there was to do with the football team. And John went the scouting route, but I see John out on the field.
Right.
You don't see a lot of GMs, necessarily doing that.
Right.
And John's out there all the time. He's intermingling with the players and all of that. And that's where there's some similarities because you always saw Floyd out there too.
Yeah, and John and Vrabel, we think, have a really good working relationship.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. And I'm sure if there's, anything that JR wants to impart on his coach before the game, he's going to do it. But that's sort of the way, these guys are. We used to joke about Bill Polian when he was with, Buffalo or Baltimore. Was he ever with Baltimore? No, Carolina rather. How he would be sitting in the press box, pounding the counter when something went bad for his team.
Well, okay, so speaking of that, so I'm sitting in the AFC Championship game in Kansas City 2 years ago. Jared, Floyd, and I went to that game. It's one of my favorite memories because we changed planes in Atlanta. Our flight to Kansas City gets canceled. We have to fly to St. Louis. You rent a car in St. Louis. They did their afternoon show in St. Louis. I then drove us to Kansas City from St. Louis in a snowstorm. That was fun because Jared's just yapping the whole time. Floyd's laughing. But I'm sitting next to Floyd in the press box. John Robinson is directly in front of us. And whenever there was a good play, I would see both of them at the same time go, okay. Floyd would make a note. John would make a note. Whenever there's a bad play, I'd hear Floyd hit the counter. John would hit the counter at the same time. They're making their notes, and I'm just laughing because it was like I'm watching twins do the same thing. And that's just how they are. That's GMs and watching a game, especially a guy like Floyd that has the coaching background, has the scouting background. So,
and I'm sure what's going to go through John Robinson's head was how Floyd, called the organization, from which he didn't exactly part on great terms with, to recommend John Robinson. And I thought that was quite a gesture.
Yeah, it shows a lot about Floyd. So congratulations to him. I know he's watching from above, and his family, Sally, thinking about all of you. This is going to be a special day, and also Jeff Fisher and his family as they will go in the Ring of Honor at halftime. Really looking forward to that. And seeing that ceremony. Guys, it's been a lot of fun today. Thanks for letting me
come by anytime, Chaser.
Yeah, we had fun. It was a good time.
Appreciate
he is Chris Sanders. He is Mark Howard. My thanks to TriStar Moving, Parman Tractor and Equipment, FreedomTireGuys.com, FanDuel Sportsbook, E2 Roofing, Hillside Medical, Social Furniture, and Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, and also Rock Bottom Brewery here on Broadway for having us for NFL pregame. I'll be back at it tomorrow starting at 10 with Darren McFarland and Willie Donick for Darren Donick and Chase. Titans and Texans coming up today, and we'll talk to you next week on NFL pregame here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The voice of reason.
No, you blew it. That's what happened. It didn't slip away. You blew it.
The voice of the fan.
The officials had let that game get out of control before anything got thrown.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here, and the NFL season has given us a big week of